Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today I'm going to attempt to repaint a Brachiosaurus. It is an Invicta Brachiosaurus, so this is an older one. These aren't the most detailed models, and honestly, there appears to be some kind of details missing, as the face seems to really be at a loss as far as detail. Even half the mouth kind of seems to have disappeared, or maybe was never on it in the first place, I'm not really sure. But it also kind of has a piece of the tail broken off, so we'll just have to forgive that area. One of the reasons why I'm going to repaint it, I do have two of these, and the other one is in much better shape, so I decided to try to repaint this one similar to the Jurassic Park Brachiosaurus, as I think the pose and sculpt overall is pretty similar to that dinosaur. Again, as I mentioned, the detail on these models isn't the best, so you can't really expect a repaint that's going to look quite as nice as a Mattel or a Safari, Collect A, Papo, anything like that. But it's not the worst figure. It's just, I mean, for its time, it was a really beautiful figure, but for today's standards, it's really not that great. But regardless, we're going to give it a shot, and I'm going to let you guys follow along and watch how I do it, as I've had numerous requests to watch how I repaint things. The light that I have above my area is really bright, and it's kind of going to drown out the color and ability to really see the Brachiosaurus a little bit, and I apologize for that, but I really kind of need the light to see what I'm doing. So hopefully you'll be able to follow along at least with the instructions and kind of get a fast forward type visual of what I'm doing. I'm going to start out here as I have primered this in all black. So after my base coat, basically my first step is going to be to take this granite gray, which is a very light gray, and I'm going to brush this all over basically the detail, but trying to stay out of the cracks and crevices that a large animal would have. A lot of the cracks and crevices would be very dark, so I'm just going to try to keep the base coat for the dark areas and trying to keep it look a little bit realistic. Here and there I'm going to take the granite gray and brush it into a few of the cracks, because a lot of larger animals will have kind of a whitish type of a look to the cracks in certain parts, just because they're a little bit dusty and a little bit dirty, and I really want this Brachiosaurus to kind of turn out looking like it's dirty. Now I'm going to take some of this territorial beige and I'm going to paint the entire underside, and actually most of the dinosaur I'm going to cover with this territorial beige, and it's going to mix together with the gray as I paint it, and basically giving it that beige type of an underneath that the Brachiosaurus in Jurassic Park has. And again, I'm not going to brush it on very hard, kind of soft brushes, so that it doesn't get down into the cracks and crevices that I would like to stay black, because if I can avoid getting the paint in those, then I won't have to do a wash later. Now I'm going to take some more of that granite gray and brush back over all the areas that I really want to look more gray, but at the same time it kind of helps for the gray and territorial beige to sort of mesh together and kind of look a little more natural with the way that they transition into each other, and kind of mix it together a little bit here and there so it looks more real on the actual animal. In certain areas you'll see a little bit of the territorial beige where there would be mostly gray, and it's just kind of a mixture of both. It's a little tough to explain, but basically I'm just trying to transition the gray into the territorial beige in a realistic, natural looking way. So as I paint that gray into the body, the closer I get and start to overrun into that territorial beige, the lighter I will get, where I would like to really transition nicely into the beige color. Then I'm going to take some raw sienna and I'm going to paint over a lot of the beige, but not completely over it. I'm going to kind of just give it a little bit as far as skin tone and brighten the beige up a little bit because it's a little bit dark and I think the actual dinosaur has a little bit of a brighter coloration, so I'll just brighten it up with this and then kind of try to make it look like there's a few different skin tones. Now I'm going to take Pavement, which is basically a dark gray, and kind of dry brush over top of the lighter granite gray to try to darken the gray a little bit, and again giving it a little bit of different coloration as far as skin tone. Now I'm going to very lightly and very carefully paint some of that raw sienna around the eye area to just again give it a little difference in coloration. It's just very, very lightly painting this on, just a very, very subtle difference. And now I'm going to take some burnt sienna and use a toothpick to paint the eyes. I'm going to take my little knife here and kind of cut off some of the toothpick at the edges to really give it a fine point. And then I'm going to take some black and paint the nostrils, the mouth, which I actually have to draw on some of the mouth myself as it appears as though half the mouth is kind of missing from the sculpt for some reason. And then paint the pupils of the eye as well. Now I'm going to take some more of that Pavement and I'm going to paint the nails. And now I'm going to very lightly dry brush some black over top of it. And when I say dry brush, I mean I'm basically going to take some black, put it on my paintbrush, and then I'm going to wipe almost all of it off until there's just a very fine amount that I'm going to very lightly brush over, again to try to bring out some of the detail and make it look a little bit different as far as skin tone goes. I also put some pewter gray on the body. I'm not really sure where the clip went, but I did take a video of it, or at least I thought I did. I just basically put a little pewter gray throughout the gray areas of the body, just again to give it a little difference in skin tone. And then I'm going to also take this black and kind of very carefully again dry brush down the spine of the dinosaur to give it a little bit of a darker appearance at the top. Now I'm going to take some khaki and just kind of give the territorial beige area again a little bit more as far as skin tone. And then I'm going to take some linen and again do the same thing, dry brush some of the linen over the territorial beige a little bit, again just to lighten it up just a little tiny bit more. And if you would like, you can take some of that black and again actually dry brush over the territorial beige a little bit just to make it look a little bit more realistic. I also did that here. And now I'm going to take some Tester's Dull Coat and spray it down. This really seals the paint job and kind of blends the paints together in a really natural way. And after this, the only thing that's left to do is really throw some gloss on the nostrils, the eyes, and the nails, and it's done. Again, it's not the absolute most beautiful model as far as details, so it's not going to look super wonderful or anything like that. I don't think it'll even remotely compare to some of the Mattel repaints that I've done, but it should look at least half decent. Again, the Brachiosaurus has a very plain color scheme from Jurassic Park, so it's not very hard to do. But at the same time, it has a very realistic look to it as far as what I would imagine a large sauropod to look like in a realistic way. So again, hopefully this looks pretty good. You'll have to let me know in the comments, and I hope this video helped you. I apologize for how messy my painting station is as I kind of throw paints all over the place. So again, please excuse that. But without further ado, here is my Brachiosaurus repaint.